Well, it's been a while. I've not done a reading update at all for quite a few months now, actually. What I thought I'd do is I'd speed run a kind of reading update, and I say February 2022, but it will be kind of from beginning of this year. So we'll go over I think I've got 10 books or so. We'll see how this goes. Starting off with, I think I posted a review on the Clash of Kings, maybe, or Storm of Swords, and so I am currently reading Feast of Crows. This one, the issue with it is that it's quite slow, and so it's been one of those ones that I'll go back and forth between, so I'll read it for a bit and then I'll get a bit bored of it, go do something else, read a different book, and then I'll come back to it. And so I'm still just over halfway through. And I should back reading it now, and hopefully as I get to the latter half of the book it should pick up. Other than that, recently I have picked up, these ones I haven't read, but I found these at a charity shop. So getting these for quite cheap, I think they're £2 each. So this is one I've always wanted to get to, so Dresden Files should be good. And Dark Shadow Magic. I think this one definitely has got a lot more in the series, so I'll get around to that at some point. And Dark Shadow Magic, I think is there 2 more? I can't remember exactly, but they're the ones I will get around to at some point this year, so expect a review or something. Next, I have Dune, which obviously I read when they announced the film, and because I never actually read it before, so it was one of those a good time really to then get to it. And I attempted to read it so I could then watch the film and see what was different and things like that, but I actually haven't watched the film yet, so I need to get around to doing that. But this one was very good. I did really like it. I think I gave this one a 4 stars, I think, or a 5 stars. I think I gave it 4 stars, because after the first kind of main section, which I think is what the film kind of takes place around, it kind of drags a bit and then picks back up in the final 100 pages, a bit less than that, final 70 pages I think. And so it wasn't really my cup of tea in the second half. I like something to be slow burn and then pay off at the end, whereas it was kind of fast paced at the beginning and then died off a bit and then put back up, if you know. I did also then go on and read Dune Messiah, which I actually really like this one. It's a lot of political intrigue and a lot less there's a lot less action, but that doesn't mean it's slow as such, because there's a lot of moving parts that you can kind of pay attention to that are kind of and I feel like this is, if you've read Dune and not read this one yet, give this one a go, because this one is quite good. Next, what I've recently just finished reading was Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. I've got the other 2 of the first trilogy. I got them for Christmas, and so I decided I'd read this one. This one was a bit difficult for me at the beginning because I'm not used to this style of writing. It's very I don't know how to say it, but it's quite difficult to get into. But then once you do get past that kind of first hurdle, it is very good. It is quite slow, but in terms of there's no direction as such, but actually it pays off quite well, and it's more about the characters, and each kind of character, well, the main character is obviously there, but each character has their own, it's very distinct and have got their personalities are quite well written, and so you can understand its characters and their motives, and nothing seems too out of place, because I know sometimes some characters can do things that are befitting of the plot and then end up feeling kind of weird, and that isn't in this. This is really good, actually. I do recommend this one. I think this one is a 5 stars for me. And one I was quite confused about was this one, The Shadow of What Was Lost. I'd seen this one recommended quite a bit, and I read it. It was quite slow, but actually, in terms, if you think about the positives, the magic is quite interesting. The way the world building is done is also very interesting. I really like, but quite often things were done for convenience, and it was way too much for me. And not only that, but some of the characters just kind of went through events and didn't react to it, which is this happened, then this and this and this, and you're okay, but I like to see the character react and the character grow, and that never really happened. And so I did give this one a 3 out of 5 stars, but I'm going to continue reading the series because I've heard good things about the entire 3, so I might as well give it a go. And if it's not my cup of tea, then at least then I know I didn't like it. But that's really it for that. One purchase I did make this year was a Kindle, and so those are the physical versions of the books that I've got, and so those are the ones I can talk about here. But I did end up reading a lot more books on the Kindle, so I've read a couple of horror stuffs for one of my university courses, which was The Shining and The Exorcist. Those two are quite good. I've also been reading I read The Poppy War, and then Dragon Republic and The Burning God. I'm currently reading The Burning God, so we'll see how that goes. I post about it on Instagram. I think that will be in the description somewhere. But I really like this series. It's one of my favourites, and I didn't realise it would be so entertaining. I didn't really think it would be my thing, but actually, very good. Apart from that, I read a couple of Brandon Sanderson novels. So The Empress Soul, which I think is one of his award-winning novels, which I really like. If you're wanting a short standalone kind of piece, that's a good one. And then I also went ahead and read Skyward, which I really like. So I'll have to get to the two, I think, is it Starsight and then Cytonic? I'll need to get to those ones soon, so if I get something out about those. But other than that, that's been what I've been reading so far. I'm still kind of listening to Wheel of Time. I think I'm on Winter's Heart, which I think is book 9, I think. I've kind of stopped listening to audiobooks recently because I've been doing other things, but I hope to get back into that routine. I'll get some reviews out for those. In terms of my TBR, I've got the rest of the first trilogy of this one. I don't know what the first trilogy is called. Farseer trilogy? Something like that. I got that one to finish. I've got the rest of this trilogy to finish. I've also got, like I said, I've got the two ones I mentioned earlier, so Stormfront, so Dresden Files and Dark Shadow Magic, which I'll get to at some point. I've also bought the first book, Lies of Locke Lamora, which I should get to at some point. That one has been on my TBR for quite a while now, so I need to get to it. And of course there'll be more Brandon Sanderson, and if you've got any recommendations, please let me know down in the comments. That'd be great. I'm still needing more books, because you never have enough and end up buying too much. And I, especially when you buy Kindle books, I end up just purchasing them. Someone recommend it to me and I'll just quickly go and buy it. And it ends up meaning I spend a bit too much money on books, but it is fine. I'll get around to them eventually. I hope that hasn't been too much of a speed run in terms of the books there, but anyway, at least now you know what I've read, what I'm now going to read, and thank you for watching. If you want to see more of my content, there we go, somewhere on the screen, and make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.